Hey everybody, Qroo here. Welcome to lesson number 7 in the series From Cero to Conversational. In the last lesson, we explored a construction that was a little awkward with the verb doler, to hurt. Me duele la espalda, my back hurts. Te duele el ojo derecho, does your right eye hurt? Does that look familiar to you? If it doesn't, you really need to go back and watch that lesson again. That's lesson 6, or what I'm covering today is not going to make any sense to you. In this lesson, I'm going to expand on that kind of awkward construction that I showed you last time, and we're going to be taking it to a whole new level. By the end of this lesson, hopefully you'll be more comfortable with that particular construction, and you'll also see how it can really propel your Spanish. Okay, we're going to start out by using the verb that we used last time, doler, and I'm going to remind you first of your indirect object pronouns. That was me, te, le, nos, and les, right? Remember that? I hope so. Now take a look at these sentences. They're going to look more unusual than the ones in the last lesson because we're taking it to another level, all right? I'm going to read through these first and then I'm going to explain it more. A mí me duele la espalda. My back hurts. A ti te duele la espalda. Your back hurts, meaning the tú or informal you. A Juan le duele la espalda. Juan's back hurts. A nosotros nos duele la espalda. Our backs hurt. But you'll notice in the Spanish, you just say the back because each person only has their own, right? A las mujeres les duele la espalda. The women's backs hurt. Those first two might have looked a little familiar, but then you saw that a mí added and that a ti. The reason is that these are the complete grammatical constructions, and as you've already seen throughout the course, it's possible to leave off parts of a sentence like subjects here and there in Spanish and things still make sense. This is another case of that. Actually, the part you see in parentheses here can always be left off and you can still have a sentence. That's why you didn't see that a mí and that a ti in those sentences that we made in the last video. All right, let's take a look at these one at a time and let's start with that first one. So what this is basically saying is, to me, the back hurts. See, that doesn't make any sense when we do literal translations from Spanish to English, and that's why we don't do that. That's why people say, well, I'm not translating, I'm interpreting. Even though we wouldn't translate it that way into English, it's a good idea for you to remember it more literally so you remember. Not to me, but just to me, the back hurts. You're like, okay, I'm starting to understand how this construction works. But we want to make things as easy as possible for ourselves to speak Spanish and still sound like we're speaking it correctly. So let's make this a bit simpler right from the start. It is very common to leave off the first part when we're dealing with me, te, and nos. Why? The reason is even if we drop the first part, the a mí, the a ti, the a nosotros, we still have me. Who can that belong to? Just me, right? Te, that can only belong to you. There's no confusion who we're talking about. And nos can only belong to us. So let's just take those out right now. We're not even going to be using those. If I want to say my back hurts, I could say a mí me duele la espalda. But I don't have to. I can just say me duele la espalda. Easier, right? If I want to say your back hurts, te duele la espalda. All right, we'll skip over that next one and now look. Our backs hurt, nos duele la espalda. And la espalda is in the singular because each one of us only has one back, right? Now let's take a look at the ones that I didn't drop the part in the parentheses. Those are the ones that are using le and les. But let's look at that first one. So without the parentheses, that one would be le duele la espalda. Somebody's back hurts, but without any context, le could refer to anyone or even to usted, the formal you. So, but if we leave on the first part, we know whose back hurts, right? A Juan le duele la espalda. To Juan, the back hurts. That's what this literally says. Now, normally if we didn't have the part in parentheses, we would kind of translate the le as like, to him, the back hurts. But here we have to Juan and then to him, the back hurts. Doesn't seem like we need that le, right? Just seems so, redundant. Well, you have to leave in the le, and what you have to get in the habit of doing is just don't translate it into your English. It gets more confusing, but it has to be there. In fact, it's often referred to as the redundant le. So in this kind of a construction, if you want to specify who is affected by the action, when here we're talking about hurting, we always want to make sure we put a, to, and then whoever's affected or whatever's affected. Here's an example. A María le duele la espalda. To Maria, the back hurts, but we wouldn't do that in English, right? Maria's back hurts. A mi perro le duele la espalda. My dog's back hurts, but really, to my dog, the back hurts. A usted le duele la espalda. Usted is the formal you. We haven't used it much in this course. This would be your back hurts, but in the formal. In those sentences, I specified whose back hurts, but if it is clear who you're talking about, you can leave off that first part, the part we would have thought was in parentheses, right? So here's an example of how that would work. ¿Cómo está Juan? How's Juan? ¿Sabes qué? You know what? Le duele la espalda. His back hurts. We didn't have to put a Juan le duele la espalda because we already know we're talking about Juan, right? Hey, how's Juan? His back hurts. Now compare that kind of context to this one. Me duele la espalda. ¿Y sabes qué? My back hurts. And you know what? A Juan le duele la espalda también. Juan's back hurts too. Now, if I hadn't said a Juan, you'd have no idea what I was talking about. It's all about context. You're going to get a feel for that as you get better at Spanish. The same thing goes for les. That's the les. That one is for plural nouns, and ustedes, which is the plural of you. A las mujeres les duele la espalda. The women's backs hurt. This construction is difficult for beginning Spanish students or even some intermediate students because it's very unlike anything we have in English. But as you can see, fortunately, it follows the same pattern over and over. And that makes it easier for you to correctly apply. As far as the me, te, nos ones, I don't think you're going to have any trouble with those because you can always omit that first part. You can always omit the a mí, a ti, a nosotros, and just go with the simplified version. That's going to make it easy for you. So in this lesson, I'm going to be focusing a lot on le and les, just so you can kind of wrap your head around this construction. All right, it's your turn to translate. Maria's eye hurts. Got it? A María le duele el ojo. A María le duele el ojo. Did you remember a María, like to Maria? And did you remember to keep that le in there? Can't lose that le. That's our redundant le. Here's another one for you. Juan's right leg hurts. A Juan le duele la pierna derecha. A Juan le duele la pierna derecha. My boss's stomach hurts. A mi jefe le duele el estómago. A mi jefe le duele el estómago. Now we talked about that you can leave off the person affected and just go, le duele el estómago if it's really clear from context. Well, you can also leave off the body part if it's clear from context. Listen to this. A tu jefe le duele el estómago? Does your boss's stomach hurt? Sí, le duele. Yes, it hurts him. We didn't specify or have to say the stomach again. In fact, we didn't even say, a mi jefe. We dropped both and it's just sí, le duele. You'll get a feel for that. Do you remember from previous lessons when I taught you that a plus el join together to form al in a sentence to avoid an awkward sounding like a el kind of sound? Remember that? Well, you're going to see that a lot in this particular construction because of that a right there at the beginning of the sentence. The child's right elbow hurts. Al niño le duele el codo derecho. Here's another one. Al hombre le duele todo el cuerpo. The man's whole body hurts, but literally to the man, the whole body hurts. That's still al hombre. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Paul, I don't know if it's worth it to learn this construction just to talk about what hurts. Maybe I could skip it. As I told you before, this construction is super important in Spanish, and not just so you can talk about, what's hurting someone. There are other verbs that follow this pattern, a lot of them in fact. The next one is one that people use daily, and I think you'll be using almost daily in your Spanish. Gustar. Gustar. This is to like, but more literally to be pleasing to, because in Spanish we don't say I like something or you like something. We say that something is pleasing to me or pleasing to you. So let's plug in some examples into our master chart that we showed you before. A mí me gustan los perros. I like dogs. Now, again, I would leave off the a mí generally and just say me gustan los perros. A ti te gusta ir al cine. you like to go to the movies. But again, I'd just say, ¿te gusta ir al cine? Or if I ask them, ¿te gusta ir al cine? Do you like to go to the movies? So when we're expressing like in English in those contexts, like do you like to go to the movies? Do you like coffee? Things like that. This is the verb we're going to be using, gustar. Here's our next one. A Juan le gusta el café. Juan likes coffee. If we left off a Juan and just said, le gusta el café, I would need some context to see who likes coffee, who is coffee pleasing to. A nosotros nos gusta ir a la playa. We like to go to the beach. But again, I'd leave off a nosotros and just say, nos gusta ir a la playa. And our last one, a las mujeres les gusta esquiar. So it's les because that's referring to the women, right? A las mujeres les gusta esquiar. The women like to ski. The subject of the sentence is the thing that you like or that the person likes. That's just a kind of a backwards way of thinking from the English, so you've got to kind of wrap your head around it. But it's the same pattern and construction as before, so you're getting more familiar with it, right? Me gustan las montañas. I like the mountains. ¿Te gustan las montañas? Do you like the mountains? The verb conjugation didn't change because las montañas is controlling it. That's the subject. The only thing that changed was that indirect object pronoun, me, te, etc. ¿Te gustan las montañas? No, pero a mi esposa le gustan. But my wife likes them, or to my wife, they are pleasing. And I didn't have to mention mountains again, for the same reason I didn't do it when we were talking about Doler. I can leave that part off if it's clear what I'm talking about. Now with this construction, when you're dealing with verbs like things you like to do, like I like to go to the beach, I like to sleep, I like to vacation, you're always going to use the singular gusta, even if you have multiple verbs, okay? If you want to practice this construction with a friend, if you're studying with someone, you could ask them, ¿Qué te gusta hacer? ¿Qué te gusta hacer? What do you like to do? And that person could respond, me gusta, and then verb, 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 and just kind of work on your vocabulary. Could be kind of fun. Me gusta leer, I like to read, whatever you like to do. Okay, I'm going to talk about liking nouns, liking things. And this is pretty important. So when we're making these sentences that we like something, we need to use the definite article. Remember, the definite article is the. In English, I could just say, I like coffee. I don't say the coffee. Well, in Spanish, they'll say the coffee is pleasing to me. Me gusta el café. Or I like dogs. In English, there's no the. In Spanish, there would be. Me gustan los perros. Many beginning Spanish students, when they first learn this verb, try to use it to say they like a person, like as in a friend, or they're nice, like, oh, I like my neighbor. A non-romantic, sentimental way. That's not what this verb is for. In fact, if you use this verb, and you can use it that way, it does mean more like. A Juan le gusta María. Juan likes Maria, which means he likes her. If you want to express that you like someone in a non-sentimental way, we're going to use another verb to do that, but it's going to follow the same construction we've been doing all day. The verb we're going to use is caer, and it means to fall. Okay, but it's going to be an expression. We literally are going to say that someone falls well to us or someone falls badly to us. So what we have is an idiomatic expression just wrapped up in this awkward construction. Should be fun, right? So if we like someone, we use caer bien. We still have to conjugate caer, obviously. And if we don't like someone, we say caer mal. Bien means well, mal means badly. This is what it looks like in a sentence. Me cae bien Juan. I like Juan. Literally, Juan falls well to me, which makes no sense in English, but when you think about idiomatic expressions in English, a lot of them don't make any sense, like let the cat out of the bag, things like that. They are what they are. Now you see in that sentence, it's cae. That's a singular third person because the subject of that sentence is Juan. It's not me, it's Juan, okay? I'm an object. So the next one, me caen mal mis vecinos. Me caen mal mis vecinos. I don't like my neighbors. Literally, my neighbors fall badly to me. The subject of that sentence is mis vecinos, my neighbors, and so they control the verb, caen. Now, with this particular construction in this verb, you may be talking about how people like you, how you like them, things like that. So we're going to add some other conjugations just so you know how to do that. So for I, it'd be yo caigo. Tú, right? Caes. Third person singular and also for usted, cae. And then for nosotros, us, caemos. And for third person plural and ustedes, which is you plural, caen. Take a look at this one. Te caigo bien. Te caigo bien. The yo's been omitted, as it often is in Spanish, just because caigo can only apply to I. But I'm asking, do you like me? But literally, do I fall well to you? All right, you think you got these? You want to try a couple with Caer? I think you're ready. Why not, right? And just to help you out, in case you haven't already memorized them, I'm going to put the verb conjugations on the screen. And no, I didn't really think you would memorize them that quickly. Don't worry. So, translate this sentence. I like Maria. Now, this is non-romantic, okay? I just think she's a nice person. I like Maria. Me cae bien Maria. Me cae bien Maria. Did you get it? Try this one. Juan likes Maria. Non-romantic. A Juan le cae bien Maria. A Juan le cae bien Maria. Did you get it? Did you remember to put the I in there? You had everybody in the right location? If you did, you're doing great. You really got this down. The women don't like Juan. A las mujeres les cae mal Juan. A las mujeres les cae mal Juan. But the women like me. Non-romantic. But they like me. Pero, remember that word pero? But, a las mujeres les caigo bien. Pero a las mujeres les caigo bien. Now, in case you're wondering how to kind of work this into a conversation, I mean, typically a conversation where I would use this with my wife might be something like, ¿Conoces a Juan? Do you know Juan? Remember conocer? You just learned that. ¿Conoces a Juan? Do you know Juan? Sí, lo conozco. Yes, I know him. ¿Te cae bien? Do you like him? Sí, me cae bien. Yeah, I like him. All right, let's move on to the next Spanish verb that I want you to learn today that follows this pattern. Encantar. Encantar. Think of to be enchanting. We're going to be conjugating this in the third person singular and plural. Encanta, encantan. This is the way we express that we love something, and not like romantic love, but like when we say, oh, I love to go to the beach. Oh, I love Paris. Oh, I love cookies. I love margaritas, whatever. Me encanta la playa. I love the beach. Literally, the beach enchants me. Me encanta viajar. I love to travel. And this works just like gustar. So I'm going to still use that singular, encanta, and just plug in verbs, okay? Juan loves to sleep all day. A Juan le encanta dormir todo el día. Now, if I just said le encanta dormir todo el día, it could be a complete sentence. But without context, I wouldn't know who loves to sleep all day. So we popped in a Juan. All right, what I really want you to get out of today's lesson, most of all, is how to use the verb gustar, to like, encantar, to love things or doing things, and caer, to fall, but in the expression I taught you, right? To like a person, etc. That's what I want you to get out of this. But before I actually end the lesson, I want to show you a few other verbs that follow this pattern so you can get an idea of how useful it really will be in your Spanish. Importar is to be important to. ¿No te importan los resultados? The results aren't important to you? Sí, me importan. Yes, they're important. A Juan le importan los animales. Animals are important to Juan, or the animals are important to Juan if I'm talking about specific ones. But we're still using the articles when we talk about overall things, right? The coffee, the animals, things like that. Next one, interesar. Interesar is to interest or be interesting to someone. Me interesa tu opinión. I'm interested in your opinion. A María le interesa la política. Maria is interested in politics, or politics interest Maria. Next one, molestar, to disturb or to bother. A María le molesta mucho el ruido. The noise bothers Maria a lot. Let's go to the next one, parecer, to seem. A really useful question that you can kind of learn. You know, when you're having a conversation with somebody and you want to be like, hey, what do you think? You know, you throw an idea out, is, ¿qué te parece? ¿Qué te parece? What does it seem to you? But that's our equivalent of, Hey, what do you think? ¿Qué te parece? Hey, I want to go paint the house, you know? ¿Qué te parece? What do you think? And if they like the idea, they usually be like, me parece bien. Seems good to me. You know, me parece bien. A Juan le parece una buena idea. You know what? It seems like a good idea to Juan. You know, I could go on and on with more verbs that fit this pattern, but I just don't want to overwhelm you, okay? The point of me going through those verbs there at the end was just to show you how versatile this construction is. And once you kind of get it down and it starts to make more sense to you, you're going to start to understand Spanish more because what they're saying to you is also going to make sense. Well, folks, that's it for today. Until next time, hasta luego.